Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to Unparalleled Universe for another action figure review, and today we're taking a look at the Toys Mafex Miles Morales Spider-Man. And I've had this figure for a few weeks, I just haven't been able to get to making this review, but I'm really excited to talk about it. I've been messing around with him a lot, and he's a really good figure. So let's get into it, starting with the packaging. You are able to see the figure right here. You can see some of his accessories. Down here we get a shot of the figure. It says Spider-Man, Mafex 92, Toys. On the side we get a look at the figure itself with this unmasked head on. On the back we get a look at the figure in all kinds of different poses, and then we have all his accessories right here, all that good stuff. On this side we get another shot of the figure, and then it says Spider-Man on the top, Spider-Man, you know, all that good stuff. And the packaging is collector friendly, so you can remove the figure if you'd like and then put it back in the box. But enough of that, let's take him out and take a look at the figure. So the first thing that I noticed when I took Miles out of the box is the way that the figure feels. It has a very high quality feel to it. The joints are all very tight, but none of them are so tight that it's a struggle to move them. The figure feels very smooth and just looks very clean and nice. And that's really cool because with Mafex, you're paying a little bit more. The figures usually cost about $90, so it's nice to get a good sense of quality as soon as you open the box, and that's definitely the case with Miles. But let's get into it here. So he does have the sculpted web lines, and I know some people don't really like that. For me, I'm okay with sculpted web lines, painted web lines, whatever, as long as it looks nice. I don't really have strong opinions either way. If it comes across good, then I'm happy with it, and it definitely does in this case. But you can see all the sculpted web lines there on the shoulder as well. You have the sculpted spider logo on the chest. On the back, the same thing. This is sculpted, but it's not like a super deep sculpt that looks distracting. It still looks smooth and good, but it definitely is more than just painted on. So, and this version of Miles is based on a comic where he appears as an adult. I think it was in a Gwenpool comic. I'm not 100% sure. So he does have adult-like proportions. He doesn't look like a teenager or anything like that. His head is a little bit smaller than we typically see on Miles Morales figures, but you know, I still think it looks good, and I don't think he looks too big, so I think he could fit as, like, you know, an adult Miles or a teenage Miles. I think it works either way. But yeah, I think the figure looks nice. You know, he has a pretty simple design, so there's not too much going on. Just black in the lower legs. The arms are black. Obviously, you have the red fingers. But yeah, it's a good looking figure, and as I said, it just feels very high quality. So I'm very happy with what we have going on here. And Miles does come with a bunch of really cool accessories, including multiple sets of hands. So let's start off there. First, we have a set of open loose hands, and then we have another set of open loose hands, and then we have a set of hands with this finger spread out. These can be used for wall crawling hands. And then we have a set of fists, and then we have a set of thwip hands. And then we have a set of gripping hands that could be used to hold on to the different web accessories that he comes with. And speaking of the web accessories, he comes with two of these longer spider webs that kind of look like they're being shot out from his hands. And then we have another set that's very similar to the long ones, but they're shorter. They look like they're being shot out of his hands. And then we have two of these things that can be used to make it look like he's swinging. And then we have this one long web that you could probably hang him from in different ways. And here's a very quick close-up look at these webs. We've seen these before. They look very similar to the ones that came with Spider-Man and Venom. But yeah, these are nice. They're very well sculpted. They do have some details on them. And I think we've seen all these before except for this one here, this style. I can't remember if we saw this with Spider-Man, but this is the only one that stands out to me. All the other ones we've seen with the previous Mafex Spider-Man figures. And then the final set of hands are a set of hands with magnets in them. And then you also have a set of feet with magnets in them. And these magnets are pretty good. Yeah, you could stick them onto a magnetic surface. They don't feel as strong as the magnets that were on the Venom figure, but they still work pretty good. And then he does come with multiple heads. First off, we have the head that's on him inside the box, and this one has like the big white eyes. The next head is pretty similar, but it has smaller white areas of the eyes. And then we have an unmasked head. And the unmasked Miles head sculpt is very well done. As you can see, it doesn't have like a crazy amount of realistic detail, but it has like an animated, stylized look to it. As you can see, the hair is smooth, the skin is very smooth, everything just looks smooth and animated. And you know, I like this head sculpt, but it just doesn't scream Miles Morales to me, but that's probably only because I'm not used to seeing like an adult version of Miles. And as I said, this figure is based on a very specific version of Miles Morales, so maybe in that comic this is exactly how he looks, but it's a very well done head sculpt. And I don't know, man, he just looks super pissed off. Look at him. That's cool, man. That's a really good looking head sculpt. But it would have been cool if they included a head sculpt for like a younger Miles. I know that's not the version they were going for, but I think that would have been nice. But this is very well done. Check out the eyes and the different colors, the lips, everything. It's a really nice looking head sculpt. And then he does have this removed mask that he could hold on to when you have the Miles Morales head on. And then last but not least, we have the typical Mafex stand. And now for some size comparisons, we have the Mafex Miles Morales alongside the Marvel Legends Miles Morales and the Mezco 112 Collective Miles Morales. And man, I forgot how tall that Mezco 112 Collective version is. That's a good figure. A lot of people hate on it, but I like it a lot. But anyways, yeah, here they are all together, and you have a variety of different sized Miles Morales figures out there. Next up, we have them alongside the Mafex Spider-Man and the Mafex Venom. And even though this Miles is a little bit taller than my ideal version of Miles Morales, he's still shorter than Peter Parker's Spider-Man, so I think that works out really good, and I'm really happy to see that, because originally I thought that this figure was the same height as the Mafex Spider-Man, so I'm very happy to see that he's a little bit shorter. And then now here he is next to the Marvel Legends Jackal and the Marvel Legends Hobgoblin. Next we have him alongside the DC Collectibles Leonardo and the SH Figure Arts Leonardo. And then here he is alongside the Marvel Legends Kraven the Hunter and the Marvel Legends Mysterio. And then now here we have him alongside the Marvel Legends Invincible Iron Man and the Marvel Legends Miss Marvel. And as usual, we have him alongside the Marvel Legends Bucky Cap and Marvel Legends Pizza Spider-Man. And then last but not least, here he is alongside the Marvel Legends Gwenpool. And like most Mafex figures, Spider-Man here has a really nice amount of articulation, so let's take a look here. His head is able to move side to side. He does have movement where the neck meets the head and where the neck meets the torso, so that allows for some really nice tilting to the side. And that goes both ways there. He could look up to right there. He could look down to right there. And then obviously he can move side to side. And then for the torso, you get some really nice crunch there. He has a waist cut and a mid-torso cut, and those work together to give you a really nice crunch. He can go back to, whoa, look at that. He could bend way back, so that's nice. And then he could tilt to the side using both of those joints. Tilt this way, look at that. Bends like crazy. And one big complaint I had with the Peter Parker version of the Mafex Spider-Man was that his hip area covered too much of his costume when he crunched forward. But that's not the case here. It just pretty much covers the very end of that V we have going on there. So that's not too bad at all. And then obviously with these 2 points of articulation, you can twist. You get most of your twist from the mid-torso one, but you can twist a little bit at the waist. And then for the arms, you have these really awesome shoulders. They're not quite butterfly shoulders. It's kind of hard to explain them, I guess, but it's just like a longer peg that sticks into the torso. And you could bring his arm way forward like that. You could bring him back to about right there. You could get him into some really nice swinging back poses. So these shoulders are really cool. You could bring them up. You could reposition them into all kinds of different positions. So these shoulders are really cool. And then his arms could go all the way around. They could come out to the side. You have the upper bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, which gets some really nice bend. And you know what I forgot to mention about Miles a little bit earlier? And just Mafex figures in general, I love how they cover the peg holes. That is so nice. That looks really good. But anyways, back to it here. His hands are on little ball joints, so you have a swivel and a hinge, and you could rotate that ball joint around to get it to hinge different ways. And then for the legs, you have the typical import style hips, which drop down a little bit, and they give you some nice range forward. You could go way up there, kick super high like that. You can come out to the side a really nice amount without having to worry about like pieces here like scratching into each other or anything like that, so that's cool. And then let's see what else we have going on here. We have the upper thigh swivel, double jointed knees. His foot is on a little ball joint just like the hand, so you have some swivel, you have some rocking side to side. You could bring them way up to up here, bring them way down to right there. And then as you saw, we have the toe articulation. So yeah, this figure has an incredible amount of articulation, and Mafex is just killing it when it comes to the articulation and posability of their figures. It's really amazing. So overall, I love this figure. I think that Mafex did a really good job with it. The sculpt on him is very nice. I know it's very clean and simple. It didn't really require a lot of like different details or anything like that, but still I think that Mafex nailed it, and the figure feels very nice in hand. It feels very high quality, so that is awesome. I like all the accessories that he came with, a bunch of cool hands, webs, all that good stuff. I do appreciate that he came with a alternate Miles Morales head, even though the head isn't necessarily how I see Miles Morales in my mind. head. He's usually, you know, younger and not so pissed off, but still, I think it's a very well done head sculpt and it does look really cool. And then for the articulation, it's pretty much perfect. There's nothing missing on this figure as far as articulation is concerned. The setup is very nice. You could get him into a lot of different poses and he's just fun to play with. So the articulation is perfect. I can't think of any complaints, to be honest with you. So I'm very happy with that. And like I always say, I really hope that Mafex continues to give us comic book inspired figures because they're killing it so far. I haven't picked up every single one that they've released, but the ones that I have, I've been extremely happy with. So hopefully they continue it on. It seems like they're going to because they're dipping into the Marvel comic stuff and into the DC comic book stuff now. So that is awesome. I can't wait for that Dark Knight Returns. I'm really curious to see how he compares to the Mezco version. And yeah, it's just exciting stuff. But anyways, I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to leave a thumbs up. That's it. Thank you very much. Peace.
Crispy.